Hi guys. Thank you for your patience. I basically ripped my shoulder in half uh about a week ago. So thank God I'm on the mend. I'm okay. But it took me out of commission for a hot second, and you can probably see the exhaustion on my face. Also, just 2020, I think in general is killing most of us. This is not the best lighting right now, but you know what? It's gonna have to do. So also, how the last 2 weeks are gonna go, like next week and then the week after. Next week I'd really like to kind of like go through some portfolio. So if you want me to like check yours out, give some tips on what I think you like could add to it, improve, like things, all that, like drop them below. Also, if people feel really weird about having their portfolio like out there in the world or like looked over, um, I'll probably just like find some examples I like out there in the world, maybe even go through my own and like roast it because it's pretty old. I haven't updated my portfolio page in maybe a year or two. So, anyway, let me try and not make this 300 hours long. So, give me your portfolios if you want me to like look them over, and then the last and final week will be like putting it all together. I'll show you how I do it, and I have Squarespace, which I think you can replicate for almost any site generally. That's pretty much how it's gonna go. Pretty simple. I mean, obviously the hardest part about putting a portfolio together is getting the pieces for it, which is probably, if you're doing it, taking a good chunk of time, is taking up like all of your time, or you haven't even started and you're just watching these for fun, and that's cool. Okay, but I thought we would just go over really quick, like what other things you can add to your portfolio besides just like pieces, but some things to like buffer it up, especially when you're first starting, and even like long term, just to have in order to make it a look a little fleshed out and a little more professional as you go through. Okay, some things to keep in mind. Number one, after your first handful of clients, you should really invest in getting a domain, like your own domain. Something like a Google site will work for, or like a Google Doc will work for your first few clients, and then after that, you should really just buy your own website. It's like $10 for the whole year. Um, and then of course you did it hosting, but I mean maybe like you know $10 a month is what I pay for Squarespace. I got a little early, but like there's some sites out there. Or anyway, you should just get a site after a certain amount of time if you really want to go after clients who are going to pay you a little more money than, because it makes you look professional. It makes you look like you have it together. Like people want, you would never hire a doctor who had like a Google Doc as a template to like reach out to them. Like just to make yourself look professional, get a site. Another thing you can do to flesh out that I should have done way earlier, I didn't ask clients if I could make case studies for all of the work we did together. If you have a client who's cool with it and like will let you kind of access and publish the background data, like okay, like for example, for copywriting, like I wrote the copy and then their site conversions increased 5%, like all of these little details that you kind of include, ask them if you want to in the beginning, and as you go along, like it's something not bad to have. I didn't really care that much. I just wanted to like get clients make money, and I just was happy that they were happy, which obviously has turned into like referrals, so it's been less of a problem. But I should have made more case studies, so anyone starting to build your portfolio, asked if possible if the client's cool with it. If not, then like just ask the next one and ask the next one. Sometimes they like it because then it gives them something to also use for like just to have that data, have that information all condensed. Anyway, case studies is another option. From there, you should put a photo. People like to see who they're hiring. Um, most phones now have a high enough quality camera for you to be able to take a decent picture of yourself. A photo. Anyway, contact information, how to get in touch with you. I'm not a fan of putting a phone number. I use Google Voice for all of my client contacts because I don't like people being able to message me personally, like on my phone in off hours, because I don't work weekends and I'm very strict about that, in evenings, etc., etc. So Total Voice is a great option if you need a phone number to give clients or to put on your portfolio in order to contact people. Anyway, how to reach out to you. Another thing you can add to your portfolio is to make your offer and what you do super clear on what they get when they work with you. Just sometimes if you work in, well, any creative industry, sometimes people don't really understand the tangibles of what they get when they hire you. You know, X amount of blog posts, done for you email template, so the client can just like publish it every week. You know, maybe you're a website designer and it's like, okay, I create extremely user-friendly websites so you can increase sales. You know, just making it like extremely tangible, especially if clients don't work in your industry and don't really understand what you do fully, completely. You know, even in copywriting, so many clients have no idea because I think it's all over the map what like client copywriters offer. Some do like SEO services and some do the actual graphic design part of it and some do blog posts. Like it's all over the place, even though that doesn't really count. Most people have no idea that like blogging and copywriting are not the same thing, but so just be clear. Another thing you can add are testimonials, press mentions, awards, and like guest posts that you've done before. You know, like on my portfolio, Marie Forleo tweeting out one of my articles that she liked will stay on there forever. It was like 10 years ago, but you know what? That's just stay on there forever. Me talking one-on-one with Gary Vaynerchuk, that's just stay on there forever. Ashley Amberger tweeting one of my articles, which are kind of testimonials, but that's like also when you can play the like celebrity influencer card in any way, shape, or form, which is not always easy to do. Obviously, you have to find a way to get your content in the face of these people. And of course, it was much easier a decade ago when I was first starting. But I mean, there's a lot of influencers like on the rise. So if you're in the beginning of starting out doing things like, you know, like Gary Vee is a little hard to get in touch with now. Now he's a much bigger celebrity than he was 10 years ago. But there's a lot of people who are coming up, who are growing, who are X, Y, and Z, and like reviewing their course, reviewing their book, talking about their content, you know, like making content about content is a way to sometimes get like attention, retweets, information, something you can share in your portfolio from these bigger people, which doesn't always matter that much, but there is a reason that like a lot of people who work with celebrities will say like, you know, like a fitness guy I follow a lot has like trained The Rock and he's trained 50 Cent and he's trained like all of it. And of course, like as much as we would like to pretend these things don't matter, like they matter, you know, just seeing that, you know, having on that on my portfolio that like Marie Forleo shared an article is like, okay, Marie liked my writing. So therefore, you know, it just helps. So that's another kind of like hacky way that you can get some things to add to your portfolio. Of course, it's time consuming. Of course, it's blah, blah, blah. But like building a freelance career is not like a one hit wonder kind of like done deal. So, you know, social media accounts is another thing to put in there if you're constantly sharing. And of course, I'm a person who likes to just, I started freelancing so I could do whatever the fuck I want with my time in my life. So I have personal and professional accounts. When people follow my personal accounts, it's fine, but like you're not gonna get any copywriting content. It's mostly just gonna be like my dog, me being my like fucking activist self out there, like retweeting political things, because like that's my life and that's what I share. You know, my plants, that kind of stuff. But then I have like my business stuff, which I try and keep at the forefront for clients to see, which is all about copywriting, content, conversion rates, email opt-ins, etc., etc. So put your social media if it applies, if you have professional kind of, or even like if on your personal one, like it's fun, but also mostly about like what you do, etc. If you're a photographer, obviously having an Instagram account is essential. These kinds of things. Yeah. Make it If it made sense, put it in there. If not, like, I wouldn't. Like, I see a lot of people who sometimes will put their social media profiles, and then you go to the profile and it's all about like dogs, and you're like, cool, I just need like a web developer. Like, it doesn't really apply. So I'm like, you shouldn't have put that in there. Of course, clients sometimes want to see your personality. Of course, it's fun to like include things about yourself and about your life, but include things, especially when you're starting out, just like people who have like made it and are higher up in their career can do whatever the hell they want on their social media profiles. Just like, they are who they are and the reputation succeeds them. But like, when you're starting out, people have no idea who you are. So keeping it as relevant as possible, even if you have to make profiles specifically based on X, Y, and Z, which is probably why I have like a billion different social profiles, because I kept it all segregated, which I don't know if this is a smart play down the line, but whatever. Anyway, social media profiles. From there, videos where it made sense. If you're a videographer, like, obviously you need to have videos. Sometimes it's just nice to see videos. A lot of clients won't play them because sometimes we're like in an office, not somewhere we can really watch videos. But having some kind of videos sometimes is a good play for. I should probably put some like in mine, like showing your work, showing your personality, showing, because a video is really the biggest winner of all. It's why things like Instagram stories and TikTok and like Snapchat and YouTube are all. And I suspect I'm not going to get on a digital media like rampage, but like video is king on the internet. In my opinion, it's just unbeatable. So if you have videos, if you're comfortable making videos, if not, like, that's cool. Video interviews, podcasts, all those things, but that kind of falls under like guest posts too, which I kind of sort of covered. But if you are a writer, it is super easy to get guest posts on a million sites. Google what your niche is and then write for us in quotations, and there'll be a billion sites, and just like go crazy pitching, and you can probably land like 30 guest posts in like a month. Of course, that would be insane, and you'd have to write all the time and 24/7, but you could theoretically, and you could fill up that portfolio real fast. And then just some other things you can think about including: relevant skills, like other side, anything like, I'm a copywriter, but I have extensive years in social media marketing. More on the organic side than paid ads, but I have ran huge accounts in the 100K plus ranges for like 20, 30 different brands, so kind of relevant. I don't really have it in there right now, but I will be putting it in there, and like growth stats and all that nerdy stuff. So, not that I'm really hireable right now for social media, but it's just, it's relevant. It's all under the marketing umbrella, so in my mind it made sense. So, it's good to include if you've worked in like sales, if you've done anything. I always err, a lot of people ask me on like our mentorship power hour calls of like, how much of this is relevant? And I think, like, my personal take is, in the beginning, it's best to just build a fully fleshed out portfolio, even if it doesn't all really fully apply, only because it's good to like have a bunch of stuff instead of like 2 to 3 like very specific. Like, okay, if I was in sales and now I want to be a copywriter, like going to portfolio and only having like 3 copywriting pieces when you've got like 30 years of sales experience is absolutely silly craziness to not include your sales experience. Mainly just because it shows like, hey, I'm not a newbie to this game. Like, I'm new to copywriting, but like, I crushed ass in sales. So it applies, and I mean, maybe if you were something like, you did like, I don't know, but something like way out of left field. Like you made furniture and now you're going to be a copywriter. I don't know how much that would apply, but also you could probably pull out things of like, okay, if you made furniture, you probably took like client requests. Like, there's ways that you can word it and like make it sound like it's relevant to what you do now in some way, shape, or form. So include those. of course, education, coursework, certificates, competitions you've won. I saw one person put in their portfolio that they took my mentorship class, which was like, I was like, I'm not a certifying body of any kind, but like they took my class and then took like a like reference, from like me and like my thoughts on like them as a student through that whole month, their work ethic, all of that. And I was like, I mean, I guess it counts, right? Like any kind of course or whatever you take kind of applies in a way. So just, it doesn't hurt. I err on the side of put as much as possible because why not? It's better than coming to like a bones portfolio where you look too new and it's too empty and it's like not, also on top of that, if you have side projects, or even groups you run, like if you run a local women in business marketing group or like a Facebook group or something that like applies, all of this is completely relevant to what you do. And I would highly recommend to put on your portfolio. Err on the side of put everything you've ever done and then like hack away at it as you have better stuff to replace it with instead of just bare bones, absolutely nothing. Oh God. Okay. I gotta sit straight. Just okay. That is pretty much it. My shoulder is telling me that we are done for this right now and I need to sit in a different way. But thank you for watching. That's pretty much it. As I said, send in your portfolio pieces. I'm going to be talking about looking at some real life examples next week. And then I will show you how to put it all together in the week after that. And I think that will be it. I think that's pretty much all I can cover on portfolios. Unless you have any questions, please leave them below. There's a Facebook group. There's a Discord group where I'm answering questions. And feel free, like, ask as many questions as you want in there because I'll probably delete them once this is finally all done because I have no interest in managing a Facebook group forever. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your patience. Stay healthy. Wash your damn hands. Okay, bye guys.